Good afternoon, San Diego City College. It may be morning or evening for you. My name is Sasha Knox, and I am the Job Placement Coordinator, Case Manage for our campus. Today, I'm going to talk to you really briefly about the benefits of an internship. We'll explore what are some of the reasons why you may want an internship while entering into the workforce. We'll have some testimonials, as well as let you know some next steps and resources if you're interested in joining an internship in the near future. So, what is an intern? Today we will discuss what is an internship, how that differs from an entry level position in the workforce, some of the benefits for students. We'll talk about the timeline, preparing for an interview for an internship, and why that also may be different than your first time for a position, an entry level position. We'll talk about what you should decide on when accepting an internship. I will show you how to formally accept or decline an internship depending on the right fit. We'll see some of those actual letters. We'll talk about job site professionalism and how to be an all star player. And then lastly, I will show some resources to you. So, to kick things off, an internship is an opportunity to acquire new skills and learn about the chosen company's culture, etiquette, and environment. It's a professional learning experience that offers practical insight and that's relevant to a student's course of study. What you'll hear a lot about in the internship realm versus a working experience is that many times you're granted access, availability, as well as previewed information that you may not be given as an entry level position or employee. Um, on an internship, you're expected to do your very best at all times, all duties assigned. Even though you may have been signed up for a specific skill or trade, you will be asked for any and everything under the sun, and we would want to see you do that with a smile and professional ethic. And a large reason why that may be important is because those are the very key elements that may have you stay on for an internship long after it's completed, to be an actual employee of the organization. As I say many times in the interviewing process, an internship is an opportunity for you to kind of get a sneak peek into the organization's culture, the company's culture, and make sure that it's a great fit for you as well. Many times students will get into an industry, and this is an opportunity, an internship is an opportunity for you to try out what the industry demand is, what are some of the needs of that organization, and to make sure that it pairs to your own interests as well. Some specific benefits for a student is to gain professional work experience, to determine a career path or test that might be for your chosen field or major, and to increase your opportunity and your likelihood to secure a full time position. As I stated, this is really an opportunity for you and the organization to kind of date each other. It's an opportunity for you to see the skills, the daily tasks, and what individuals in that organization dedicate their time to, and make sure that it aligns to your best interest. Additional benefits of the student is that it allows additional work experience. So many times organizations, before they offer you an entry level position, will want to see 1 to 2 years experience, or for you to demonstrate a specific skill. An internship is an opportunity for you to demonstrate how you accurately do that specific skill, and also how you are able to demonstrate or gain some time and knowledge in the industry. Additional benefits is if you're a recent college graduate with a stellar GPA, cover letter, and glowing recommendation, you're still missing one important item that's important for landing a position at a major company, and that may be the internship. Some organizations have gatekeepers and have ways and management styles to make sure that you begin in that organization as an intern before you're able to be a full-time employee. To talk more about this experience, I'm going to bring our very own Denise Wizenhunt to share her experience. So now that we've just talked about the benefits of an internship, I have the fabulous VP Wizenhunt, Dr. Wizenhunt, who's going to explain to us, her personal spin on the benefits of an internship and her own testimony. So please take it away.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll do my best, Sasha, but there's so many different benefits of internships. And I think particularly early on in your career, they're absolutely essential. And so for me, it allowed me to make personal connections in the work environment. So my first opportunity to do an internship outside of my college experience, I got to, really interface with just lots of different people. You get to know them, they get to know you. Sometimes internships give you an opportunity to give you some resource, give you some pay that'll help make it a little bit easier. And so I had the opportunity to have a paid internship at that point of my life. Also helps you figure out kind of what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And some of them are local, some of them are out of town. For me, mine was out of town, so I got another experience. And then I think the best experience about that is really to develop sort of that feeling of trust of the employer or the employees around you getting to know you, which can sometimes lead to your first job, which is what happened to me. So I finished college, and I that summer worked at a lobbying firm in Washington, D.C. And it was an amazing experience. I was a legislative aid kind of person. I had a lobbyist card on Capitol Hill and in DC. And it was, in the halls, I would see people like, Ted Kennedy of the Kennedy family on the healthcare committee that I was charged with. And when you're an intern, they're often asking you to like identify certain things when you're working in a lobbying firm that matter to the lobbying firm, like the word choice that people say, the things that they choose to emphasize, that conversation or those conversations that they have in those hearings often helped inform clients. So I did that. I actually was on John Lewis actually was one of the committees that I was charged to go to meetings on. So I would like see John Lewis at the time. And it's just kind of like a really tremendous experience. DC was very diverse, so lots of people of color. I come from San Diego, I really hadn't had that exposure to that degree in the work setting or in the community setting. At the time, the community was probably about 70% African American. And so I worked really hard, and I worked late hours. And when I say late hours, I mean like really late hours into the morning, because you would like mark up bills and all of that. And my employer, I think, really saw how hard I worked. And at the time, I had no idea that they were going to ask me anything. I was just trying to go to work, be the best employee that I could. It gave me exposure to like, what the workplace is like, the need to be professional, the need to be assertive at times, the need to be humble, but really just to avail myself to opportunities. So I did that. And then what I thought when I was about to go home, like the president of the company called me in and was like, do you want to stay here and work? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to do my thing, like me, And my first job out of college was through the internship. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. There was no automatic job for Denise at the time. I was, I lacked direction, and this helped me learn skills that I even use today. The power of public speaking, persuasiveness, connecting with people. These are skills that you're going to do for the rest of your life. And really, so much of that was learned through my very first internship. So that's what I did. It was a great experience. I am the hugest advocate, and Sasha has to hear from me all the time. Ms. Knox hears from me all the time, because I am talking about, the fact that people don't know who you are on a piece of paper. They have no idea who you are. But when you get inside the door, they know, like, she's cool or he's cool, he can do it, like he's capable. And then you start building that trust, and the opportunities are much greater. And I think that we know in our society now that more and more people are doing internships. So, I strongly encourage you to pursue internships, because you never know what it's going to mean in your life, how it's going to impact you. People sometimes share with you things in internships they may not share with you when you get the job. So, definitely go for it. It was a place to help me find a voice as a woman of color. I learned a lot about work environments, and so I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day. I don't know a lot of presidents and VPs that say, I would love to be a part of your workshop. But here's the things that I've heard. I was taking notes briefly. I heard networking, right? So we know that jobs are not filled by a traditional name on a paper. 70% of the jobs on the job board are filled through who you know. So, number one, I heard networking. I heard 21st century skills, which you hear a lot in my presentation and you hear a lot in my workshops, right? And that's public speaking, that's communication, that's teamwork, all of those things you were working not only in your internship lobbying, but you'll find them across any industry. Is that right?
Absolutely, anywhere.
I heard trial and error, and not only did you learn about the culture of the organization that you were working in, but you learned about a whole new culture across the world, right? So, or not across the world, but across the state.
Country.
We were in DC in a whole new subset, and you were able to gain social and political capital through that experience. People were coming to you to find your voice in the lobbying as well as within the organization. I heard trust of employees. There are a lot that we share with individuals that you got access to the room, as Hamilton would say, right? You got access to the room.
Right.
It's time where a lot of individuals, especially if you start off as just an entry level employee, you would not have that same access into the room. And then I also heard, I already talked about input and voice, and then I heard unconventional hours. So one of the most biggest misconceptions is what you're going to be doing when you get to your internship, because it could be any and everything under the sun, including getting coffee, right? And then you'll be working really long hours, right? You'll be doing things off the clock. You'll be going above and beyond expectation. But you talked about why that's so important, because that's how you got the job, right? You hustle hard, you worked hard, but then you were also asked at the end of that opportunity, because of your professionalism, because of your knowledge and expertise, to stay on to that organization. And so these are all of the things that you don't just hear it from me, hear it from the experts in the room. You hear it across the industry. So again, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. Now I do have one bonus question, and I didn't prep you for it, right?
Okay.
So if you were to say the top skill or information that you gained from your experience, and if you had to do it all over again, what would you tell students that is?
I would say an unbridled work ethic. I would say, like, leaning into opportunities that aren't always, done by 10:30 in the morning. Just really just going for it. Just really applying myself. That and doing it in a way and maintaining a positive attitude is I think, and competence. I think that's key, and that is literally what that internship experience is like. You get to try things. It's your lab. So you get to define who you are, and I think the work ethic piece, if I was asked to get a cup of coffee, I would bring a napkin.
Right? It's the little things.
It's the little things.
Yeah, the extra razzle and dazzle that we talk about in workshops. So, well, thank you again. I'm going to stop the recording here.
Thank you.
So I hope you were able to find something fruitful from that conversation and show some dynamics that may be very important as so now that we've just talked about the benefits of it, and we talked about that. I apologize, guys. So now that we've talked about all of the benefits and summarized some of the reasons as to why you want an internship, again, this is going to be access to 21st century skills. This is going to be some information that you're going to want to know long term, and it gives you opportunity to demo an organization, to find your voice, and a ton of additional other skills in which you will gain at an internship site. So now that we've got some of the benefits, what it is, how it's different, and we've even got a special testimonial, I wanted to spend a little time talking about the timeline. So, as you go into your internship search, there are some things that you want to do prior to your internship search, during your actual internship search, and then a couple months after. And so, we'll talk about the full timeline. The first thing that I suggest students do is create a target list. Not like when you're going to target the store, but an actual target list of employees. So, this is a list of wants, needs, values, interests, and some organizations that you feel like you really want to work at. Think of this like your vision board. When I started my target list, I really thought of organizational mission, organizational culture, some of the positions that I really saw myself doing, and things that I know match my actual skills. So again, in our workshops and presentations, we talk a lot about 21st century skills, which we know is what employers are asking for when they look for someone to be hireable. Remember, 21st century skills are everything that you're doing in your classroom today, whether you're an arts and media major to a nursing major to child development. These are speech and communication, public speaking, working in teams and collaboration, access to digital media, etc., etc. So, really make sure that you're taking a critical approach to what you do extremely well and how that pairs to the organization or the position that you're looking to. Number two, you really want to create an updated resume and cover letter. Again, this is where you're really going to start making a name for yourself. So I suggest that you take a pause if you have not done a current resume and cover letter, and check out my resume and cover letter workshop linked below so that you can get some of the industry information to help yourself become more marketable. In addition to what organizations you want, I want you to juxtapose that list with some of your own goals, objectives, and some experience that you would like to see. Um, if you would like, the job placement coordinator office is always open to do one-on-one appointments. Sorry, not interviews. To ensure that you have all of the skills that you need, we could do a dedicated search together. We can show information together, and we can also go through walking through some employers and mock interviews once you're ready. So again, I just want to make sure that you know of all the resources on the job board, in our internship board that we host in house as a campus, but also that you can receive a one on one dedicated appointment to go through some of these things. If you're struggling with writing a list or articulating your skills, you can set up an appointment as easy as early and easy as today to ensure that you receive that information. Now that you know what you want out of things with your 4 to 5 months prior to the start date, then when you're 3 to 4 months out, you can start attending career and internship fairs. Again, this is information that's going to be readily available to you once you join our job board through CCN at sdcity.edu/job network, also linked below. This is going to be the most updated and recent information for all employers and all interns offered during the season. So, this is when you really want to begin starting that search using that list that you've already curated for yourself and really narrow down your options. Um, you want to make sure that someone is reviewing your resume. Again, this is a service that can be done in house with a job placement service office or the Career Center, or you can have a friend, fellow colleague, or even a professor look at your resume. Then you want to actually begin applying. This is when you're going to suck up the nerves and press the button, hit send. So, this is when, once all of your documents are ready, once you've accurately networked and articulated yourself on paper, you're going to want to actually apply for those interviews. I always, always, always suggest as you're applying for any organization for any internship that you want to start curating and doing a mock interview. This can be done again with the career counselor, the job placement coordinator in the career services office, or a friend, colleague, parent, and even a professor. This gives you the motivation, the skills, and a critiqueful eye so that someone is able to help you articulate your strengths, notice your body language, tell you to pause, give some of that critical feedback to ensure that you advance in the interview process. We also have interview workshops that are right here recorded as well. Also, linked down below. So once you're ready, you can review that resume workshop, begin writing your resume and cover letter. Then I suggest that you watch the preparing for an interview workshop as well. Once you begin finding the internship opportunities, you can call to confirm. Again, the CCN job board within our campus is going to have all of this information housed for you. But I suggest calling to confirm or calling to follow up with employers to figure out the timeline of which they want to offer positions. On our job board, you'll see there are some summer only positions, some positions only offered during breaks, and then positions that are ran year long. Now we're narrowing down our timeline, and you want to continue interviewing and contacting employers as you narrow down your list and as you begin as you continue on your journey. You want to make sure that have all of the accurate and professional attire, information as you're articulating yourself during the interview, and you want to begin to curate and write your acceptance or rejection letters. Now, remind yourself that if you apply to 10 plus interviews, you can't do all 10. So, even though this is sometimes a tricky area for students, or they may get nervous about telling organizations no, or this may not be the right time for me, this is the time for you to really start working on those no thank you letters as well as your acceptance letters. When you're actually in the internship, I want to make sure to reiterate the points of myself and Dr. Wizenhut that really say to maintain appropriate and professional behavior while on your when on your internship. Remember that you're being watched. Remember that they're grooming you for success. And remember, this is really the opportunity for you to shine. As she said, if someone asked her to bring coffee, she not only brought coffee, a smile, but she also brought a napkin. She would remember little details and ensure to do them enthusiastically because this is what sets you above. You want to also connect with your job placement coordinator or the career counselor to ensure to keep that open line of communication. Every position and internship house on our job board, we have a direct relationship with the employer. So if you're really in your internship and loving the opportunity, keep an open line with us so that we can put a bug in the employer's ear, get some feedback, and assist you along the way. Um, Again, when you're preparing for the interview and why it's really essential when you're looking at internships is that you really want to ensure that you're speaking the language of the internship and not coming in. The difference between an internship and a job position is that you don't have to be the expert. It is okay to not know every critical detail, every bit of information. You want to reiterate that you have some of the key skills and information and opportunities. You want to reiterate your desire to learn, grow, and know in this organization. And you also want to keep an open and keep an open line of communication and reinforce your need, want, and interest with that organization. Again, if you created a target list, you're going to know why you're after that organization as an intern versus so many other opportunities that may be out there. This is really your time to shine, to show them I don't have 10 years of experience. However, this is an organization that I'm really interested in working in. Here are the reasons why. And here's why I feel like this is a great culture fit or company fit or mission fit for what I'm trying to do long term. these are just some of the, to reiterate some of the aspects to do during an interview. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this slide because, as I mentioned, there's going to be a link down below to walk you through step by step what to do during the interview. But you really want to continue to have professional mannerisms, to ask reflective questions. There's always an opportunity at the end of an interview to ask questions. Make sure that you ask questions and drive home some key points. Again, as an intern, you don't have to be responsible for knowing all information. During an interview, it's totally acceptable for an internship. It's totally acceptable to say, I have not tackled this skill set yet from this lens, right? So I may not have sold to the market just yet in real estate. However, I have been practicing X, Y, and Z skill in my real estate studies class. And this is the opportunity with your organization that I'm really looking to grow. It is in these moments for you to really, again, articulate your needs, your skills, your interests, and alignment with the organization as an intern. I also want to reiterate that as an intern, this is your opportunity to really grow and hone in your skills. What's different between an internship and an expected employer relationship when you come in as an entry level or first time employee is that you're expected to be on your A game 24/7 all the time and know all of the things in your position. You interviewed, you beat out candidates in your job position for that. An intern is an opportunity for you to grow, for you to expand in that knowledge. I cannot reiterate enough. It's all about the skills that you're bringing, about the organization itself, and about what you can do long term. So, this is really an opportunity for you to think about questions and for you to be reflective about how you want to show up in these spaces in order to make yourself accountable to the work that you want to do long term. This is a growing spot. Internships are an opportunity to grow with organizations, to grow in the industry. It's also completely okay if an internship is not quite the right fit. There's this is again another opportunity to reach out to your career services team as well as the job placement team to talk about some of those kinks. Sometimes organizations may not be built for you, but the skills are there. The learning opportunity is there. So even if that organization is not quite the right fit, this is an opportunity for you to pause, be reflective, ask yourself some critical questions like those on the screen to make sure that you're extracting all of the knowledge, data, and information from that internship site to make sure that you succeed long term in your career goals. Some important questions to think about before you even accept a position is, does the internship help me achieve my goals? Um, you know, and should I wait to hear back from other companies? Does this internship match my interests and values? And would this qualify as relevant experience? There's a wave of industry information that came out years ago that said, just take the mailroom position, just get in the door. And while our office is always going to be a proponent of gaining an employer relationship or gaining some knowledge and experience, you still want to make the time, you want to make sure to take the time as a future employee, as a future intern, to make sure that it's the right fit for you. Again, this is ensuring that it's in line with your interests and values, that it's what you want to accomplish long term, and that you're going to get the skills necessary for you to advance long term. You are the driver of the ride of your life. So this is an opportunity as an intern to really gain that skill set, to really learn those skills, to really know that knowledge that they are utilizing in that organization for you to be successful long term. As Dr. Wizenhunt and I've said, this is really an opportunity for you also to get in the door. Sometimes, and a lot of the times, specifically for job search, it's not necessarily about what you know, but who you know. Instead of just being a random name on a piece of paper, and you working double time to market yourself, an internship is a way to kind of get in the room, to be in the know, to understand how that organization works, and to make sure that they know you equally as well. This means putting your best foot forward, but this also means gaining access to some places and some spaces that you may not have as a first level entry employee. So, an internship, again, is another opportunity not just to learn about your nucleus of skill, not just to learn about that one thing that you're trying to extract from this, but to look at the organization kind of 360 to make sure that you know who you need to know while you're thinking about the advancement of your next level. So, decision making time. When you're looking at accepting a internship position verbally, we always want to, if they're giving you a call, you always want to express gratitude. You always want to make sure that you ask any questions that you may have. Is this a paid internship? What are the expected hours? What are some of the hourly rate? Um, Check the video down below about negotiation if some of those things don't work out for you, so that you can advocate for yourself. And then the organization will typically send a formal letter or a formal email and a written offer. At that point, that's where you really want to use your negotiation skills. Also, again, link below that workshop to make sure that you're making sure that this opportunity and organization is a good fit for you. You always want to express gratitude and enthusiasm, even if you may not be accepting the position right away. If you're not sure, you can always say, "Can I have a day or two to think about it?" At that point, they'll tell you their timeline to proceed, and you can take a reflective moment to make sure that this is the right opportunity for you. I wanted to really briefly show you an acceptance letter and a rejection letter. Again, you may be in a position where you've offered yourself to many internship opportunities, you've selected the right one, but more than one may give you a call back. Especially now in our time, there's a lot of internship opportunities rising on our job board, which is why I wanted to get this workshop out to you so intently. So I want to make sure that you understand the acceptance letter absolutely takes advantage of receiving that negotiate or taking takes advantage of receiving that written offer letter, talks about any negotiation if necessary, but gladly accepts the offer and lets the organization know when you intend to start. A rejection letter is not to say thank you, but I liked so and so organization down the street, or I really don't like your pay, right? So, this is again another opportunity for you to write a letter to still keep the door open in case it's a relationship that you need to build upon on the future. And this is why there's two examples on the screen, because we really want to make sure that you know how to adequately still express your enthusiasm, still express your interest, but politely decline the offer for whatever reason. I also want to make it poignantly clear that you don't always have to explain or give reason as to why you may be saying no at that particular moment. So don't feel pressured that you have to on the phone. Instead, take the time to reflectively and eloquently write out some of the reasons why you may not be accepting the position. Again, this is another time that I'm going to ask that you make a job services appointment. Send an email to sdcitytrans.ccd.edu or connect with us virtually in our virtual office hours to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward, whether you're accepting a position or declining the position. So, we've mentioned it several times in this presentation, but I want to take a pause to say this again. You want to maintain your best foot forward every single day of your internship. Every single meeting that you're invited to, whether it be to provide coffee, to take notes, or to provide feedback. You want to know and follow the company attire. You want to make sure that you are present, fully present for every opportunity. You want to maintain a positive attitude, and you want to add that razzle and dazzle that we talked about. This is really your opportunity to seek and be seen in your internship. Remember, this is them testing you as an employer and you testing them. This is an opportunity for you to extract all of the knowledge, skills, and information, but also for you to be seen, visible, and to have some input. You can do this in emails, you can do this in writing, and you can do this when you're physically present as well. Don't use your cell phone. Don't use company resources for personal use. And no matter how bad of a day it is, Do not post any negative comments on social media. Don't talk negatively on the actual job site. Again, as an intern, you may have access and information to a bunch of spaces that you would not have access to as a regular employee. As much as they're granting you that access, I want to make sure that you all know that they are intently watching you, that they're asking individuals, how was their feedback? How was their body language? What did they say to you in these moments? If you are previewing them to information that they may not need or are overstepping boundaries, guarantee you that information is always going to get back. So again, at an internship site, this is always an opportunity for you to put your best foot forward, remain your best foot forward, and show that hard hustle and hard heart that we all see at City College to make sure that your dreams come true. Lastly, some final steps is that I want to invite you to our campus job board, which I've mentioned several times in this presentation. But you're going to go to sdcity.edu/job network, which is also linked below. And that's going to show you our job and internship board. Currently, we have over 400 internships posted. We have over 500 employer relationships. So there's a lot of opportunity, even in our new reality, for you to receive skills, knowledge, and information for you to move forward. There's some additional information on the screen for contacting our office. I can be reached at snox@sdcity.edu. I'm sorry, snox@sdccd.edu. Our career services office can be reached at citytran .sdcd at sdccd.edu. Our campus phone number, as well as some information on our website. Thank you so much for spending the time with me, for being flexible with me. I look forward to seeing and speaking with you all soon, and I hope you have a fantastic day.